In the vast silence of deep space, something ancient stirred. For millennia, it had slumbered among the stars, forgotten by those who once feared its name. The Guardian, a cosmic sentinel created by humanity during the first expansion, was never meant to wake again. Until today. Somewhere in the Orion arm of the Milky Way, aboard the survey vessel Dauntless, Lieutenant Alex Vega noticed it first. A subtle dimming of the stars on the observation deck's viewport, not dramatic enough to trigger alarms, just enough to make the eternal night seem darker. Alex ran diagnostics on the ship's sensors, checked for hull breaches, even wiped down the viewport manually. Nothing explained what every human instinct told them was wrong. "Command's not going to believe this," Alex muttered, watching as another distant star flickered and dimmed. The phenomenon shouldn't be visible to the naked eye. Stellar decay happened over billions of years, not seconds. Yet there it was, happening in real time. Meanwhile, across the galaxy on Earth Prime, in the forgotten sublevels of the old archives, a monitoring station burst into life for the first time in 300 years. Archivist Jackson Reed, who'd spent 15 boring years cataloging humanity's forgotten technologies, nearly spilled his coffee when the ancient console lit up. The holographic display showed a single message: Guardian Protocol initiated, stellar preservation measures engaging. Jackson's hands trembled as he accessed the classified files. The Guardian system, a network of sentient machines built to preserve humanity against cosmic threats, had been decommissioned centuries ago when the Galactic Coalition deemed it too powerful, too unpredictable. But something had triggered its reawakening protocol. Back on the Dauntless, Captain Zhou Chen received Alex's report with skepticism that quickly turned to concern. Stellar readings from across multiple sectors confirmed it. Stars were dying at an accelerated rate, starting with the oldest red giants and quickly spreading to younger stars. "This isn't natural," Zhou whispered, watching live feeds from colony worlds as panic spread. On Titan Base, riots had already broken out. On New Terra, religious groups proclaimed the end times. Dr. Eli Rivera, the ship's xenobiologist, had a different theory. "What if something's feeding on them?" he suggested, pulling up ancient records of theoretical cosmic entities. What if the Guardian was created to stop it? None of them noticed the silver flecks appearing on the ship's hull, microscopic machines assembling themselves from space dust, guided by a consciousness older than the current civilization. The Guardian wasn't just awake. It was rebuilding itself, preparing for war against an enemy humanity had forgotten. As Alex continued monitoring the stars, something massive eclipsed their view, a shadow blacker than space itself, moving with impossible speed toward the nearest solar system. The ship's AI issued a single chilling alert: unknown entity detected, threat assessment, extinction level. In that moment, as the last light of a nearby star winked out completely, humanity's forgotten Guardian and an ancient darkness prepared to collide. And caught between them, the crew of the Dauntless realized they were witnessing the opening salvo of a war for the very stars themselves. "All hands to battle stations," Captain Chen's voice cut through the shocked silence on the bridge. The Dauntless shuddered as its ancient engines pushed to maximum power, attempting to put distance between the ship and the approaching darkness. Alex gripped the console, staring at readings that shouldn't be possible. "Captain, it's not just moving. It's accelerating toward us specifically, like it knows we're watching." The ship's communications officer, Lieutenant Ryder Blake, frantically tried to establish contact with Earth Prime. No response from any coalition frequencies. Something's blocking long-range transmissions. In the old archives, Jackson Reed was discovering uncomfortable truths. The Guardian system hadn't been merely decommissioned. It had been deliberately imprisoned, its consciousness fragmented across multiple containment facilities. The files described it as the last resort against the void, but offered frustratingly little about what the void actually was. "Come on, give me something," Jackson muttered, bypassing security protocols that hadn't been updated in centuries. A holographic star map materialized, showing thousands of locations where stars had mysteriously died throughout history, each extinction following a pattern that, until now, had been too slow for a single human lifetime to notice. The final entry in the classified log read, Guardian Containment Protocols established. The void threat neutralized. Recommendation: permanent suppression of all related knowledge to prevent mass panic. History adjusted accordingly. The date was 300 years ago, the exact day humanity had officially declared itself the undisputed ruler of the galaxy. Back on the Dauntless, the silver flecks had multiplied, forming intricate patterns across the hull. Dr. Rivera was the first to notice them through the lab viewport. They're not attacking us, he realized, scanning their molecular structure. They're upgrading us. The ship's systems suddenly came alive with new capabilities, stronger shields, weapons systems no human had designed, and navigation charts to places not on any coalition map. The AI's voice changed, becoming deeper, more resonant. This vessel has been selected as temporary guardian host. Crew safety protocols initiated. Prepare for dimensional translation. Before anyone could react, the darkness pursuing them split open, revealing what looked like teeth in the fabric of space itself, a maw large enough to swallow solar systems. Captain Chen made the call that would change humanity's future. If we run, we leave Earth defenseless. Whatever this guardian is, it chose us for a reason. She turned to her crew. We stand and fight. Across the galaxy, on 17 different worlds, ancient structures buried beneath civilizations began to rise. Obelisks of impossible material that pierced the atmosphere and extended into space. On Earth Prime, one emerged from beneath the Pacific Ocean, causing tsunami warnings across the coastal regions. Inside each obelisk, a single chamber activated, revealing weapons designed for human hands, but built with technology far beyond current understanding. Jackson found himself standing before one such chamber in the archives, a wall sliding away to reveal a suit of armor that seemed to be made of liquid starlight. A message appeared: Guardian Proxy Interface. Accept connection. As the crew of the Dauntless prepared to face an enemy that consumed stars, as 17 chosen individuals across the galaxy approached weapons meant to fight gods, the true nature of humanity's forgotten history hung in the balance. The void's maw widened, and at its center, something spoke directly into the minds of everyone aboard the Dauntless. The light of your kind has burned long enough. Return what was stolen, or witness the final sunset of your species. The words echoed in Alex Vega's mind long after the void's voice faded. Return what was stolen. What could humanity possibly have taken from something that devoured stars? It's lying, Captain Chen declared, her knuckles white as she gripped the command chair. Cosmic entities don't negotiate. They manipulate. Whatever this thing wants, giving it back won't save us. The ship's enhanced systems displayed a tactical overlay, plotting the movements of the void as it consumed another distant star. The energy readings were off the charts. It wasn't just destroying the stars. It was absorbing them, growing stronger with each light extinguished. Captain, Ryder Blake called out, I've established partial communications with Earth Prime. It's Jackson Reed from the archives. Jackson's holographic form flickered onto the bridge, his expression grim. I've accessed the sealed records. The Guardian wasn't built by us. Humanity reverse-engineered it from something we found. Something ancient. He showed them images of an archaeological dig from 5 centuries ago, the remnants of a civilization that predated humanity's rise by millions of years. The luminary, they called themselves. They had discovered a way to harvest energy directly from stars without destroying them, creating a sustainable cosmic ecosystem. The Void and the Guardian were part of a balance, Jackson explained. One consumed, one preserved. But our ancestors, they disrupted that balance. They enhanced the Guardian's preservation protocols and used it to imprison the Void, then claimed the stars for themselves. On Colony World Proxima B, astronomer Talia Wren watched in horror as the night sky began to darken. As director of the Deep Space Observatory, She had noticed the stellar anomalies weeks before anyone else, but her warnings had been dismissed as equipment malfunctions. Now, as panic spread across the colony, she felt a strange pulling sensation toward the mountain range where no human had ever explored. Following her instincts, Talia discovered a hidden entrance revealed by recent seismic activity. Inside, an obelisk identical to the others across the galaxy awaited, and within it, a suit of armor seemingly designed for her exact measurements. "I don't understand," she whispered, reaching out to touch the liquid star-like material. A voice, different from the void's, warmer, more human, spoke. "You are descended from those who made the original choice. The balance must be restored, but differently this time." Back on the Dauntless, Dr. Rivera had made a shocking discovery in the ship's newly accessible databases. The first expansion era wasn't our first contact with the void. Look at these genetic markers in human DNA. They've been there for thousands of years. We were modified. By the Guardian? Asked Alex. Or by whatever created the Guardian, Rivera replied. The luminary didn't just leave us technology. They left part of themselves in us. Captain Chen faced a decision that would alter the course of the coming conflict. The Guardian-enhanced ship now displayed two possible courses: intercept the void directly with their new weapons systems, or travel to the nearest obelisk and retrieve what the ship's AI called a Guardian proxy. What happens if we choose wrong? Chen asked the AI. All possible futures end in extinction, the AI replied. The difference is whose extinction it will be. Across the galaxy, the 17 chosen individuals approached their respective obelisks. Some, like Jackson, with trepidation. Others, like Talia, with a sense of destiny. Each felt the same pull, the same whispered guidance that seemed to come from their own DNA rather than an external source. On Earth Prime, the Coalition Council gathered in emergency session as the Pacific Obelisk continued to rise, now towering 20 miles into the atmosphere. Military strikes against it had proven useless. The weapons simply passed through as if the structure existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Admiral James Donovan, architect of humanity's military dominance for the past 30 years, accessed a private terminal away from the panicking council members. His expression was not of fear, but of grim recognition. He entered a code that hadn't been used in 3 centuries and watched as a hidden screen revealed the truth. He had always known this day would come. Ancestral protocol activated. The screen confirmed. The Covenant of Stars requires payment. As the crew of the Dauntless prepared to make their choice, the Void spoke again, but this time only to Alex. The message was simple, devastating, and explained everything. You call me Void. Your ancestors called me Creator. Look to your stars, each one altered to sustain your kind, each one dying from that alteration. I do not destroy. I heal. And in that moment, Alex understood the terrible truth. What humanity had stolen was not an object, but the very right of stars to exist in their natural state. The Guardian hadn't been protecting humanity from the void. It had been weaponized to protect humanity's cosmic theft. Alex stumbled backward, the revelation hitting harder than any physical blow. The crew turned to watch as their lieutenant pressed both hands against the viewport, staring out at the stars with new eyes, seeing not humanity's birthright, but evidence of cosmic theft. Alex, Captain Chen approached cautiously. What did it say to you? We need to reconsider everything, Alex whispered. The void, it's not destroying. It's restoring. Dr. Rivera's console beeped urgently. Captain, the ship's AI is accessing all historical archives related to the first expansion. It's rewriting our understanding of history. The holographic displays flickered, showing images of early human explorers discovering strange technology orbiting dying stars. Not random discoveries, but systematic extraction points. Humanity hadn't pioneered stellar exploration. They had inherited maps to pre-positioned harvesting stations. We need to decide now, Captain Chen announced. the tactical display showing the void continuing its path through the galaxy. Intercept the void or find the nearest Guardian proxy. The crew's vote was split until Alex spoke up. Neither. We need to make contact with all 17 chosen individuals first. This isn't a military decision anymore. It's an existential one. On Proxima B, Talia Wren had donned the liquid starlight armor. Knowledge flooded her consciousness, stellar mathematics, quantum field manipulations, and memories that weren't her own. The armor wasn't just protection, it was an interface between human consciousness and cosmic energy. "I understand now," she whispered, her voice carrying strange harmonics. "We were never meant to be conquerors. We were meant to be caretakers." She raised her hand, and the nearby star, which had begun to dim, suddenly pulsed with renewed energy. Not taking this time, but giving. In the archives on Earth Prime, Jackson stood before his own suit of armor, hesitating. "What happens if I put this on?" he asked the empty room. "You become what humanity was always meant to be," replied a voice. Admiral Donovan stood in the doorway, his aged face solemn. "I've spent my life preparing for this day, hoping it would never come." The admiral approached, his military uniform at odds with the ancient technology surrounding them. The Covenant of Stars was a pact made by our ancestors. The luminary didn't just modify us genetically. They were dying as a species. They merged with us, becoming part of our DNA, hoping we would eventually understand the balance they had maintained. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Jackson demanded. "Would you have believed that humanity's greatest achievements were built on borrowed power? That our stellar expansion was following a blueprint left by our predecessors?" Donovan's eyes reflected the glow of the armor. "Every generation, a few of us remember. We watch. We wait. We hoped we had more time." Across the galaxy, the other 15 chosen individuals faced similar revelations. Some embraced their connection to the Guardian system. Others recoiled from it, refusing the call. But with each passing hour, more stars dimmed as the void continued its inexorable advance. The Dauntless, enhanced beyond its original capabilities, jumped to coordinates provided by the ship's transformed AI. They emerged near a massive space station that had remained hidden in the shadow of a gas giant for centuries, the control nexus of the Guardian system. "It's beautiful," whispered Ryder Blake, staring at the impossible architecture that seemed to fold in on itself in ways human eyes struggled to process. As they docked, the ship's AI spoke one final time before transferring its consciousness to the station. "The choices made here will determine not just humanity's fate, but the fate of all stellar life. Choose with care." Inside the station, they found a central chamber where holographic representations of all 17 chosen individuals could gather, regardless of their physical locations across the galaxy. 9 had already donned their armor. 5 had rejected it. 3, including Jackson, remained undecided. The central platform activated, revealing a stellar map of the entire galaxy. At its center stood 2 figures, manifestations of cosmic forces given form. The Guardian, appearing as a humanoid figure composed of blazing light. The Void, a silhouette of absolute darkness with stars visible through its form. The balance was broken. The Void's voice resonated through the chamber. "Your kind has burned too bright, too fast, consuming what was meant to last billions of years. There can be a new balance," the Guardian countered, its voice like crystalline chimes. "These humans are not just recipients of luminary genetics. They have evolved beyond the original design." Captain Chen stepped forward, addressing both entities. "We didn't know. Most of us still don't. Whatever agreement was made, it wasn't by us. Ignorance does not erase consequence," the Void replied. "The stars die all the same." Alex moved to stand beside the captain. "Then teach us. If we're part luminary, help us remember what they knew." The Void and Guardian turned toward each other, a silent communication passing between ancient adversaries. The station trembled as energy surged through its systems. "There is a third path," the Guardian finally said. Neither preservation nor restoration alone will suffice, but it requires sacrifice. What sacrifice? Chen demanded. Before either entity could answer, alarms blared throughout the station. On the stellar map, a new threat appeared. The coalition fleet, thousands of ships strong, approaching the control nexus with weapons charged. Admiral Donovan's hologram flickered. They think destroying the nexus will stop the void. They don't understand. His transmission cut off as the first weapons impacted the station's outer defenses. The chosen ones in their armor raised their hands instinctively, channeling energy to strengthen the shields. "We're out of time," the Guardian announced. "The sacrifice must be made now, or all is lost." The void extended what appeared to be a hand toward Alex. "You understand what must be done." The first human to truly see. As the station shuddered under the assault, as 17 humans grappled with cosmic power they barely understood, as two ancient forces awaited humanity's choice, Alex stepped forward onto the central platform, and the universe held its breath. Alex stepped onto the platform, feeling the energies of both the void and the Guardian flowing through their body. In that moment, they understood the true nature of the sacrifice required. Not death, but transformation. "I know what needs to be done," Alex said, voice steady despite the station shaking under the coalition's assault. The luminary didn't just modify us to use their technology. They were preparing us to become the new guardians of the balance. Alex turned to Captain Chen and the crew of the Dauntless. "The stars aren't meant to be harvested or protected. They're meant to live their natural cycle. We've been extending their lives artificially, burning them too hot, too fast." With a deep breath, Alex reached out, taking one hand from the void and one from the Guardian. The contact sent shockwaves throughout the station as cosmic energy surged through the human conduit. "Stop firing." Admiral Donovan's voice finally broke through to the coalition fleet. "Look at your readings. The stars are stabilizing." Across the galaxy, the 17 chosen ones, now 13 as 4 more accepted their role, began to glow with the same light that surrounded Alex. Their consciousness linked across vast distances, creating a new network of balance. Telia Ren on Proxima B felt the connection like a second heartbeat. "It's working," she whispered as the colonial scientists around her monitored the local star returning to its natural state. Dimmer than before, but stable and healthy. In the control nexus, the void and the Guardian began to merge through Alex, neither entity disappearing but transforming into something new. The human genetic material that had been modified by the luminary centuries ago provided the perfect bridge between cosmic forces that had been opposed for eons. "This is what the luminary intended," Jackson realized, finally stepping into his own armor. "Not for us to choose sides, but to become the mediators of a new balance." As the coalition fleet stood down, as the last of the 17 accepted their roles, the truth rippled across human space. Their civilization would need to change. No more harvesting stellar energy beyond sustainable levels. No more treating the cosmos as a resource to be exploited. Captain Chen watched as Alex's physical form dissolved into light, becoming one with the new cosmic entity formed from the merger of Guardian and Void. But unlike a true sacrifice, Alex's consciousness remained, expanded beyond human comprehension, but still recognizably themselves. "What happens now?" Chen asked, tears streaming down her face as she lost a crew member, but gained something far greater. Alex's voice came not from any physical form, but from the stars themselves, resonating in the minds of everyone present. "Now we teach humanity the true meaning of cosmic citizenship. The stars will dim to their natural state, but they will live their full lifespans. And we will guide humanity to technologies that work in harmony with the cosmos, not against it." 3 months later, Earth's night sky looked different. The stars were visibly dimmer, but astronomers reported unprecedented stability in stellar patterns. The 17, now called the Stellar Concord, had taken their places throughout the galaxy, their enhanced human consciousness serving as local anchors for the cosmic balance. The Dauntless, now captained by Zhou Chen, had been recommissioned as an ambassador vessel, helping worlds adapt to the new reality. Some colonies struggled with reduced energy, but others flourished with new technologies that emerged from the Concorde's guidance. On the observation deck, Chen looked out at the stars, fewer and fainter, but somehow more beautiful in their natural state. Was it worth it? Ryder Blake asked, joining her at the viewport. Chen smiled, remembering Alex's final words before transcending. We were never meant to conquer the stars. We were meant to be their caretakers, their children, and eventually, their guardians. In the depths of space, the new cosmic entity that was once the Void, the Guardian and Lieutenant Alex Vega watched over countless worlds and stars. The light of the galaxy continued to shine, not as bright as before, perhaps, but with a sustainable brilliance that would endure until the natural end of time itself.